Hey there, everybody. Now that the whole world's locked down because of the Black Plague, and most of us, well, maybe not most of us, but a lot of us are out of work, including myself, I got some projects that I'd like to be working on, but I got no money to be working on them, so I'm not going to be doing anything with those for a while. But there is one project that I was working on. It's not a car, but it's for a car, and that's this center console. Now I've got all of the materials. I've got all the materials that I need pretty much to get started and put this thing together. So that's what I'm going to do. So here we go. Now where I left off in the last video, I decided on the basic shape, the basic design of the console, and had started building the basic structure of the console. And what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to continue with that. I'm going to make this console so that it has two sealed compartments for self-contained speakers, and it's also going to hold a head unit, and it's also going to hold some cup holders, and I don't have the cup holders yet, so I'm not too sure exactly what I'm going to use for cup holders. I might use the stainless steel ones, or I may use some type of plastic ones. I may even go out to the boneyard and pull some cup holders out of a vehicle out at the boneyard and figure out a way to make them fit into this console. Anyhow, besides that, I also would like to put in a 12-volt lighter socket, 5-volt USB jack, if possible. I've got some coaxial two-way 3.5-inch speakers here that are going to be going into the console, along with and I've got the grills for them as well. And I also have the AM/FM, in this case cassette head unit, but it is a cassette. And I know that the OEM stopped putting those in vehicles maybe around 2003. So what? Nobody's going to steal a cassette deck. It's also got an input, an AUX input, so I can plug anything in it. I can plug a portable CD into it. I can plug a MP3 little music player into it, whatever, you know. So it's going to work fine for this. So after making sure that the speakers are going to fit into the console and clear the transmission hump, I have to make sure that there's enough room for the center divider, and I got to get the basic shape of the piece that I'm going to use for the center divider, as well as these two pieces that fit across the transmission tunnel. Now, once I get the enclosures built, I'm going to use fiberglass mat along with fiberglass resin and hardener, and I'll use that to make the sealed enclosures. The interior joints of the separate speaker enclosures are going to be sealed with silicone caulking, RTV silicone sealant. And of course, the ultimate plan is to cover the entire console with vinyl upholstery that will be the same color as the interior of the car. As you can see, it fits pretty nicely in the car, and it's going to clear the ashtray. I'm going to have about 1/4 of an inch of clearance right there, which is enough. The other thing is that I'm not using any fancy tools to make this. I'm not using any table saws or router tables or anything like that. I'm just using handheld power tools and basic hand tools to make this console. So you don't really need all the big expensive tools to make something like this. It's nice if you have them, but you don't really need them. You don't absolutely have to have them. Now the speaker enclosures are going to be lined either with fiberglass insulation or Dacron, whichever I decide to use. It doesn't really matter. That's just for acoustical purposes. It makes them sound better. There's going to be another video. I'm going to make another video where I'll be showing how I put the upholstery, the vinyl upholstery, on the enclosure, and then I'll install the speakers and install the head unit. And the head unit itself, I made a faceplate for it to sit in. I used a piece of an old mud flap. Actually, it's not a used mud flap, it's just a piece of a mud flap that I had cut up for something else. And it works great for this because the black texture on it just happens to be the same as the black texture on the dash of the car, so it's going to match. You could use whatever you want, some type of wood grain paneling, depending on what the inside of your vehicle is trimmed with. In this case, it's going to work out just nice. It's going to look like it belongs there. And the piece that I cut out from the middle to drop the head unit in, I'm going to use that piece to make a delete for where the car's original AM radio was in the dash, so it'll just fit in there and fill up that hole. So if you found this video interesting, entertaining, or helpful in some way, please don't forget to like it, and you can also leave comments in the section below. Thanks for watching.